Look, if you're between 20 and 29 years old right now, and you're not thinking about money, you're already behind. I'm not saying that to scare you, I'm saying it because it's true. If you've ever heard older people tell you, oh, don't worry, you have time, or you've got your whole life ahead of you, that is absolutely nonsense. You don't have time. That's the problem. First, you don't know how many years you're going to live. For all you know, you're getting in a car crash in a week from now, and you'll never be able to walk again. Or even worse, you'll straight up die. Now, how likely is it to happen? Not very likely. However, can you prove me wrong? Do you know for sure what the future will bring you? You don't. And second, the quality of life you can have in your 20s and 30s if you have money is way better than if you're rich at 70 or 80 when you're old, slow, and exhausted. So anybody who tells you that you have time is just trying to fuck you over and make you stay as miserable as they are. Most people in their 20s are completely wasting their time, and you probably are too. You're wasting it scrolling, you're wasting it on drama, you're wasting it chasing empty relationships that don't matter. So let me break down exactly what you need to do to actually build real wealth in your 20s, even if you're starting off in a low-income or middle-class family. My name is Fred, and I've made thousands of dollars a day by selling high-ticket consulting online. I had my first $1,000 day at 21 and my first $2,600 day at 22. And I'm talking cash collected profit, by the way. The first thing you need to understand is that getting rich is a long game, not a quick flip. Look, I know that's not what you want to hear, because you've been fed garbage your whole life, especially with social media, about overnight success and crypto millionaires and people who make it big in 6 months from nothing, or people who become millionaires at 17. But all of that is dog shit. I've seen the behind the scenes. The thing that nobody tells you about these stories is that they're either lying, they got mind-blowingly lucky, or they built skills for years and they built like a crazy app or something like that before that moment happened. The truth is wealth and valuable skills compound. And if you're in your 20s right now, chances are you've got more time than money, which means time is literally your biggest unfair advantage, and you're probably not using it correctly. Most people in their 20s ruin this advantage by chasing quick wins. They jump into day trading with money they don't have. They throw everything into some random old coin or NFT because someone on Twitter said it's going to the moon. They look for shortcuts and hacks and secret strategies. And then they're 28, 29, 30, and they wonder why they're still poor. Here's why. Because the rich don't play short-term games. Now yes, sometimes wealthy people take risks which could completely fail, but that's only 20% of the time. Every millionaire will tell you 80% of the time invest in proven assets, and then okay, sure, 20% of the time allocate your capital to more risky ventures. Ventures where you could lose everything, or on the opposite, hit it big. Truly wealthy people who stay wealthy, they play the long-term game. They learn to delay gratification to build a successful business, for instance. They focus on positioning themselves in the right industries, acquiring the right knowledge, building the right relationships, and then reinvesting their profit instead of immediately spending it on stuff that makes them look successful. You need to stop thinking like someone who wants quick money and start thinking like someone who's building a financial empire that lasts 30, 40, 50 years. Ironically, you'll never make as much money as quickly as when you start thinking long-term instead of short-term. Because once you realize you're playing a long-term game, you stop making dumb, short-term decisions. You stop buying things to impress people who don't care about you. You stop chasing shiny objects. And instead, you start building actual leverage that grows your net worth exponentially. And that's how by the time you're 30 years old, you're actually in the top 0.1% of society. Not even top 1%, top 0.1%. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. Now look, you don't need to find your passion right now. You don't need to discover your purpose or follow your dreams or any of that fluffy stuff. What you need to do is build skills that directly convert to income. Leverageable skills. Skills that make you valuable in the marketplace, irreplaceable. I'm talking about sales, marketing, coding, design, operations, client acquisition, management, communication. These are the skills that will actually make you rich. These are the skills that transfer across industries, so even if the economy shifts or your industry changes, you're still just as valuable. Getting rich is not necessarily about working harder than everyone else. It's about becoming someone whose time is worth more. Think about that. If you make $20 an hour right now, your job is not to work more hours. Your job is to become someone whose hour is worth $200, then $2,000, then $20,000. And the only way to do that is by mastering high-income skills. Skills that solve expensive problems. Skills that generate revenue for businesses. Skills that create value at scale. So stop worrying about passive income before you even know how to make active income. Focus on becoming a master at one or two high-value skills first. Once you can make real money with your skills, then you start thinking about leverage and systems and ways to make passive income. But you need the foundation first. The next lesson I want to share with you is that if you truly want to become rich before 30 years old, you need to start making and managing real money early. And I mean real money, not just a paycheck that disappears by the end of the month. The sooner you learn how to make money, save money the right way, and allocate money correctly to the right things, the sooner you stop being broke. This is basic stuff, but most people never figure it out. For a little bit, learn to live below your means. Build an emergency fund so you're not one car repair away from being stressed out or going broke. Start contributing to investments even if it's small amounts. Track your net worth every single month or every single year so you can see if you're actually moving forward or just treading water. Here's the brutal truth. Most 20-somethings don't get rich because they can't hold on to money. They make some money and immediately inflate their lifestyle to match it. They get a raise and they buy a nicer car. They get a bonus and they book a vacation. They start making decent money and suddenly they need the expensive apartments and the designer clothes and the fancy dinners. This is called lifestyle inflation. And it's a trap that keeps you broke forever. Controlling your expenses is a form of wealth building that most people completely ignore. If you make $60,000 a year and you live like you make $40,000, you have $20,000 a year to invest. Do that for 50 years and you have $100,000 plus returns. You can use it to build a solid business. Do it for 5 to 10 years and you will be financially free. But most people can't do it because they don't have the discipline. If you want to become more successful than 99% of people, you need to use your 20s to build a leverage, not just chase a higher paycheck. Rich people get paid from leverage, not because they work every waking hour. They have systems, media, people, or money working for them even while they sleep. They're not just trading time for money. They've built systems that scale without them. And that's what you need to start thinking about right now. If you want to get rich before 30, you need to stop being someone who only gets paid when they show up and start being someone who gets paid even when they're sleeping or having dinner with friends. Build something that scales. I'm talking about a business, a personal brand, a digital product, even a software, a YouTube channel, an audience, anything that can make money without requiring your direct time input every single hour. Even if it's small at first, even if it only makes a few $100 a month, well, it's still leverage, it's a start. That $100 become 1,000, becomes 10,000, becomes 100,000, becomes 1,000,000 if you stay consistent and you keep improving what you're doing and reinvesting your profits to grow your business or investments. The earlier you start building leverage, the sooner you escape the 9-to-5 treadmill where you're forever trading hours for dollars. And look, I'm going to be real with you. If you actually want to get rich and make between $10,000 to $100,000 plus per month in your 20s, sell high-ticket programs or services online. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's how I've made thousands of dollars a day in profit with over 96% profit. That's what actually works at scale. Not selling $15 ebooks or trying to get ad revenue from a blog. Blogs are dead. High-ticket. Sell something valuable for thousands of dollars that solves a real expensive problem for people or businesses. That's how you make real money online, not by following the latest bullshit dropshipping trend. On average, high-ticket coaching or services sell between $1,000 all the way to $10,000. One client at $10,000 is worth way more than 1,000 customers at $10. And it's actually easier to find one person with a real problem than 1,000 people who might buy something cheap. This is the model that actually creates wealth in your 20s. Now, you don't have to sell something for $10,000. It could be just $1,000. You find a painful problem someone has. It could be a personal problem or a business problem. You package it into a high-value offer. You learn how to sell it the right way, and you help your customers get massive results. That's how you scale. You're not just making money. You're building a real business with very good profit margins that can actually change your life and that of your customers. Stop thinking small. Stop trying to nickel and dime your way to wealth. Go high ticket. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. Now, we need to address your environment. Your environment is responsible for at least 60% of your success. If everyone around you is broke, spending recklessly, complaining about money, and living only for the weekend or retirement, that will quietly become your ceiling. You will unconsciously adopt their habits, their mindset, their spending patterns, their lack of ambition. It happens slowly, and you won't even notice it until 5 years have passed and you're exactly where they are. Instead, you need to get in rooms where people are building, investing, making millions, and thinking long term. Now, if you can't do that yet, I understand, I couldn't back then. So instead, join communities of entrepreneurs, maybe even attend some events where successful people gather, watch this kind of content online, work with mentors, and work for mentors, even if it means taking a pay cut short term. Network with people who have what you want and learn from them, because you will learn more from proximity to success than from any how to invest book. When you're around people who are building million-dollar businesses, you start a business too. When you're around people who are investing consistently, you start investing too. When you're around people who think big, you start thinking big. There's nothing magic about it, that's just how human psychology works. So if you're serious about getting rich in your 20s, audit your circle right now. Who are you spending most of your time with? Are they pushing you forward or holding you back? Are they building a business or just passively consuming? Are they thinking about the future or just living for right now only? And if the answer makes you uncomfortable, it's probably time to make some changes. It's not about being fake or even abandoning your friends. It's about being intentional with your time and energy because those are your most valuable resources. Look, the bottom line is this. Your 20s are not about finding yourself or having fun or experimenting or whatever other nonsense people tell you. Your 20s are about positioning yourself for the life you actually want. And if you want to be rich, if you want financial freedom, if you want options and choices and the ability to do what you want when you want, then you need to treat your 20s like the strategic decade they are. Play the long-term game. Build actual high-value skills instead of chasing the next dropshipping hype. Manage your money correctly, create leverage, and surround yourself with winners. And above all, stop making excuses. You have time right now, but you won't have it forever. Every day you waste is a day you can't get back. So stop mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, stop mindlessly consuming entertaining content, and stop watching for the perfect moment and start taking care of your future now. Especially if you plan on having a family, if you stay fucking broke, you are being irresponsible. So get to work. If you'd like me to personally help you to build a profitable online business, check out the free training I made for you in the description below. You can also apply to book a call with me or a member of my team, and we'll help you implement everything step by step so you can get your first customers as quickly as possible, even with limited time and money. But be quick, we do have very limited spots. With that being said, I will see you on the other side.